I wanted to go live and share some pretty epic stuff that I've learned today, and just like light bulb moments going off. And just I'm listening to some of the content that I normally do, and it's just, just gives me chills sometimes. And I just think we're living in a very interesting time. And when I heard the content that I did today, it reminded me of how backwards everything is, that with regards to what we are taught about money and how to build wealth, how to save for retirement, our golden years, whatever, which I think is just BS. That's a whole other conversation though. But I was just thinking about today, the content that I'm listening to is talking about inflation. They had the Fed meeting today. They're not they're not lowering interest rates. They're not, they might even increase interest rates later. But on top of that, they're talking about how great the job market is and stuff like that. And I'm just thinking about all the stuff that is going on and how backwards everything is that we're taught, and how much of it is not in our best interest. But one of the big things that I took away from the content that I learned, that I was listening to today, is that these various different financial vehicles that I talk about on my channel, infinite banking, for example, just a phenomenal, very, very powerful financial strategy when implemented correctly. Oh man, I see so much garbage content online right now. And it's one of the reasons I started my channel, because, while I was at the Life 180 retreat in the Dominican Republic recently, I saw a lot of content about, from IUL agents talking about becoming your own bank, using this really trash product, Index Universal Life. You got to be so careful with this stuff. And I'm thinking to myself when I'm going through that, and it's there's already enough problems as is. There's already so many things stacked against us as is. Why are we injecting more risk into our finances with this crap product, right? IUL. But anyways, when I was listening to this content, the biggest thing I took away from it was that things like infinite banking, dividend paying whole life insurance, as powerful as they are, all of these other financial products, IUL, 401ks, and things like that, they're not going to fix your problems. They can help us build wealth. But again, going back to what I said in the beginning, is everything is backwards. See, what we should be focusing on in the beginning is building up our income, building our savings, building up our financial foundation before we ever consider investing in anything. Here's the thing that got me is, so I was listening to this podcast from it's called Better Wealth with Caleb Williams. I've learned a ton from him about whole life insurance and building wealth and stuff like that. He was interviewing a channel. I forgot the gentleman's name. I apologize, but his channel is called Cash Flow Architect. Fantastic conversation, and he said, along the lines of this is my interpretation of it. He said, basically, I don't want to turn $100,000 into $500,000, or I don't want to turn $10,000 into $50,000, or even $10,000 into $100,000 over 20 to 30 years. Okay. Using the first example, I don't want to turn 100K into 500K over 15, 20 years. I want to make 500K per year. And when I heard that was I'm already focused on, building up my income, and before I invest in anything, but that really hit me. And I think it's a really powerful message that we need to focus on building our income first. We need to have our foundation first before we think about investing in anything, in my opinion. This is not financial advice. I'm just sharing my journey here. But when people are investing in their 401k, for example, and they're investing, I don't know, I guess obviously it depends on your income, but maybe you're investing $200-300 a month. How is that really going to move the needle in your life? How is that really going to prepare you for retirement later on down the road? Instead, what I would argue is we need to take that $200 to $300 a month and invest it back in ourselves to learn how to take our income from 50K per year to 100K per year or 200K per year, right? And then as you build your savings up, now you have capital to work with. Now you can start thinking about things like the infinite banking concept, or maybe investing in general, whatever, right? Starting to take more risk with your money. I would say calculated risk, because I think there's a difference between taking a little bit of risk with our money and gambling, which is what I think the majority of people actually do with their money is gambling. Like most people I talk to that have some kind of benefit with their at work, whether it's a 401k or life insurance or whatnot, they have no idea where their money is. How is that any different than gambling? Like, something I learned was when you understand how something works, I'm generalizing here, then you significantly reduce the risk involved with whatever that activity is. So for example, I'm getting into private money lending, but I still haven't done my first deal. And I've been learning for like the past, 4 months maybe, because I'm learning how the process actually works, so that when it comes time to take advantage of an opportunity, I know what I'm doing. Like I know how to mitigate my risk and lower it as much as possible. I can influence that deal. It's backed by a hard asset, et cetera, right? So the risk is very, very minimal compared to something where I'm putting my money into it and I have no idea how it works. I have no control over it, right? And so everything is backwards. And some of the other content that I was listening to, here's the other thing. I got some notes here. The other thing that he said in the podcast, until you have a surplus of capital, you probably don't need a financial advisor. You probably don't need an estate plan. You don't need an IUL. You don't need an infinite banking policy. Like, I've done training on like the bare minimum that you would want to have saved in the bank, consistently saving on a monthly basis. That's the bare minimum would be $10,000 the first year, maybe $200, $250 per month after that. Even that is like the bare minimum. If you can't do that, then you don't need to be thinking about infinite banking. You don't need to think about, in my opinion, you don't need to think about investing either. You need to figure out how to grow your income. See, when I screwed my life up terribly financially and I was recovering, all I focused on was income. That's it. Rebuilding the foundation. I didn't think about buying Bitcoin. I didn't think about private money lending. I'm doing like flipping heavy equipment, all this stuff. I didn't think about any of that until I fixed my income first. Because if you don't have your income, if you're not making the level of income where you can, sorry, I got a call coming in, where you can like your bills are paid comfortably, you can consistently save money on a regular basis. See, that's the next step, is fixing your income and then building your financial foundation, saving, building up that emergency and opportunity fund, etc. That way you have control, you have options, like you can dictate where you deploy that capital instead of just throwing it into your 401k and crossing your fingers hoping that the market does what it's supposed to do. And that's a whole other conversation. I'm not a fan of 401ks whatsoever. Maybe it's right for some people. That's fine. Okay, but I think just like if you're not able to consistently save money, why are we even considering investing in anything right now? Build the income. Which there's so many ways to do that, guys. Like we live in a day and age now with technology where it's at where, anybody can significantly increase their income over the next 6, 12, 18 months. Start a podcast, start a blog, start a YouTube channel, start sharing your journey, start sharing your expertise. You'd be amazed at what that will do for your life over the next 12 to 18 months. I know this for a fact. It's exactly what happened to me. When I was broke, I just kept sharing my journey. I just kept getting better and better and better. And eventually, things started to take off. It's just incredible. But you have to actually do it, right? And I think people are just taught like, I'm going to invest in the future and whatnot. I'm going to save for retirement, when actually a lot of times what you're doing is investing in the future, in your retirement. It's a very, very big difference, right? But then, here's the next part, is like why I think it's so important that we need to focus on our income first, our financial foundation, okay? Whether that's an infinite banking policy or not, a dividend paying whole life insurance policy, it gives you a really, really strong foundation financially. Maybe that's right for you, maybe it's not, whatever, I don't care. Income, build the financial foundation, then we can start taking risks. Then we can start having a conversation about, well, not we, I'm just saying, with ourselves, like we can start researching different opportunities to deploy that capital effectively. See, that's, for me, that's what we should be taught. Income, foundation or savings, then investing, right? But it's all backwards. And the other content I was watching that made me want to do this this live and share this is just how crazy stuff is getting. Like I saw from Kellogg's, they are what did they say? I saw this on, what was it, NBC, MSNBC News. I actually saw it on the podcast, but I think it was the CEO or whatever, maybe not the CEO of Kellogg's, but he was saying basically we're reaching consumers where they are and advertising cereal for dinner. That's where we've gotten. Does that sound like the American dream? Does that sound like the buy term and invest the difference strategy is working? You know, max out your 401k and in 30 years you'll be all right. And then you'll be wealthy. In the meantime, though, you have to have cereal for dinner. Really, is that where we're getting? Is that the point we are coming to here in America? Where people can't afford, and I get it, man. Like, I went to the grocery store today. I went to the gas station yesterday. I put $50 in my car. I got 3/4 of a tank. 3/4 of a tank full. It didn't even fill my car. It didn't even fill my gas tank. $50. And then when you go to the grocery store, it's just insane how expensive stuff is. So what are you doing how are you responding to that? You have to think about this, guys. Like we're getting to the point, like we're being backed up into a corner right now where we have no choice. You have to increase your income. You have to take calculated risk. For me, it's not dumping a bunch of money in the 401k. Maybe that's right for you. Fine. Okay. Everybody's situation is different. But for me, it's investing in hard assets, investing in things that, putting my money where I'm getting higher returns with lower risk because I have control, I have influence. It's backed by hard assets, right? Like when you're putting money into a 401k, do you even know where it's at? Do you have any control over what the stock market does? Can you access that money if you have an emergency, if something comes up? Like when we're taught to do, it handcuffs us. It handcuffs our money. It reduces our liquidity, our control, and it basically, what's really frustrating is, like if you read the book, The Pirates of Manhattan, you start to realize that a lot of these things are just profit centers for Wall Street and government. That's it. They are the primary beneficiaries of it because they make money whether your account goes up or down. You take all the risk. We take all the risk. We front all the money, take all the risk. They're the ones that profit. Maybe we'll be okay in 30, 40 years. Who knows? Do you know what taxes are going to do? Do you know what the stock market's going to do? Do you know what the economy is going to do? What it's going to look like in 30 years? No, we don't. And yet people are dumping all their money into it. What I would argue is that, if you're putting away like $200 a month into your 401k, I would argue that is better invested back into yourself to learn how to increase your income so you can increase your savings, build your financial foundation. Now you can learn how to deploy that capital effectively, whether that's real estate. I'm doing private money lending, flipping equipment. I do a little bit of Bitcoin. That's fine, whatever. I have treasury bills, like T-bills are paying really good right now. I can effectively deploy my capital, and most of it has literally nothing to do with the stock market. And I have control of most of it. I have influence over it. Like I can influence the deal, right? If I were to do a private money loan, whatever. Like, I just think what we've been taught, what's happening right now is revealing how defective what we've been taught really is, right? And I would just encourage everybody, please think about this. Where are you at with your income? What are you doing right now to increase your income? Okay. Are you sharing your expertise with the world? Are you sharing your gift with the world? Are you providing more value to people? Are you increasing your skill sets? See, my formula for success and increasing your income is skill set plus action plus time equals success. You can absolutely increase your income following that formula. Get really good at something. Maybe you already are. Okay. Take massive action, sharing that expertise with the world, and then just give it time. That's what worked for me. Okay. And then we can effectively deploy capital, and we can use that capital to grow and build wealth, earn interest, whatever it is, without giving up control of our money, hoping that and tying it up for 30 years, hoping that the stock market does what we hope it will do. Like that to me is just not a good plan. That's a gamble. To me, that's no different than going to the roulette wheel and betting it all on black. Maybe it'll work. Maybe not. So anyways, I wanted to share this with you guys because I was listening to this stuff and the other thing, I heard Jamie Dimon earlier on this podcast. He was saying, he's calling for 1970s style inflation. Inflation is sticky right now, guys. It was coming down. It's pretty easy to get it down from 9% to 3%, but it's going back up. I think it's 3.5% right now. And that doesn't mean that prices have come down. That just means that they're going up. The prices of everything are going up a little bit slower. That's it. Prices have not come down. You probably know, you feel. I feel this at the grocery store, the gas station. It was $4.34 a gallon when the last time I went to the gas station. And if if your only source of income is your job, meaning you don't really have any control of your very limited control of your income, how do you respond to that? And then you have a ton of your money locked up in these pre-qualified or tax qualified plans that you can't touch until 59 and a half. Where's the focus on increasing income? Where's the focus on building the financial foundation first before we start taking risks like that? It's just so frustrating. It's just I feel like it's just set up to it's not set up for our best interest. It's set up for Wall Street, government, their best interest, because they get paid whether or not these plans work or not, and that's just sad to me. So, anyways, guys, I just wanted to share that with you. That's what's on my mind right now. I was listening to this stuff, and it's just crazy stuff going on right now, and we have to respond accordingly. All right, we have to make sure that we're getting better every single day. We're increasing our skill sets, which eventually increases our income, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then we can start to deploy capital so that we can at least keep up with the chaos that's going on. If not, take advantage of it the best way that we can, so that our families are taken care of, are provided for, instead of having cereal for dinner. That just breaks my heart, man. So anyways, hope you guys are doing all right. If you have any questions, comments, I'd love to hear your feedback. Drop them down below. And if you want to have a conversation about this kind of stuff, my door is open. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Matty Ice is out.